What's up, everybody? In this episode, I'm going to share with you a special interview I got with Outer Orbit. Now, Outer Orbit is a San Francisco pinball restaurant, and unfortunately, they're facing some tough times. After being a place for years of pinball and food and amazing community, they're facing the possibility of closing their doors for good. Now, when I initially got this interview with them, I was unaware of that. So I'm hoping now to shed light on this super special pinball spot to the Bay Area and how you can help keep it alive. I'm going to put their GoFundMe link in the description below, and they're looking for potential investors. So if you know someone that's looking to potentially partner in a pinball arcade restaurant, go ahead and check out the link, and I'll have more description of what you can do and be a part of it below. So yeah, if you love pinball, love local businesses, and just love seeing passionate people do what they do best, then stick around, hear their story, and let's rally together to save Outer Orbit.
My name's Christian Gainsley, and I'm one of the owners of Outer Orbit.
And I'm Elizabeth Conkey, the other owner of Outer Orbit.
We wanted to open an arcade, a pinball spot.
Eventually it happened in 2018. We were dating early on and started to play pinball together. I happened to be pretty good at it, and he hadn't played much before, and so he was intrigued because I was beating his ass a little bit.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And then he overcompensated and got really good. And we loved it. We had some friends who were really into it, who owned some machines. So that was kind of eye-opening, people actually own them and people play tournaments, and it was like a big eye-opener. And then the idea of the arcade came up probably around 2013, and you started to think about opening a restaurant, and I was like, no way. And I'm like, the only business I ever want to open, if I'm going to open a business with you, is pinball arcade. And so we settled on that, and then of course we found a spot with the kitchen.
We did initially plan to open an arcade only. We were going to have beer, wine, probably a panini press. Not much.
Yeah.
But we were originally looking up the hill from us. We're in Bernal Heights right now, and we live in Bernal Heights, and there's a cute little community up there, so we were going to open an arcade up there. None of the spots we were gunning for were working out, and we found this location, which is down the hill, and it had a full kitchen. So we got a chef.
We kind of went for it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, I don't know, all of our favorite things in one place. We're really also into craft beer, so it's kind of like, let's have a nice Big Island bar, why not? And so we kind of just dreamed up everything and hoped it would work, and went from there.
We've been open for over 6 years.
Yeah.
We came up with the name Outer Orbit pretty early on when we were conceptualizing it. And actually the business name, the LLC name, is Skillshot LLC. Originally we were going to be called Skillshot Pinball, and we didn't get a liquor license. So it seemed like a little confusing.
Yeah, a little dumb if you don't have shots,
Yeah, and then we just went through all the pinball terminology that we could think of.
And we're kind of close to the outer mission, so we're like, oh, Outer Orbit, and it's a move shot on the play field, right, when in pinball. So our food is Hawaiian inspired, Asian fusion, you could also say. But yeah, Christian's from Hawaii, and so we pull a lot of influence from that.
Yeah, we kind of put all our favorite things into this restaurant, and Hawaii food is one of those things. So we call our food Hapa Hawaii food. We're not doing traditional Hawaiian food, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we're not doing Hawaii food that a lot of people are familiar with, which is barbecue, Hawaiian barbecue. So people are familiar with that. But what's been happening in Hawaii food is amazing.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
The evolution has continued, and the contemporary food there is really inspiring. Every time we go, we're just like, wow. And then we also blend that with what people like in San Francisco, California cuisine, and everything that's kind of happening here. So there's a little bit of influence from both. And spam musubi is really big because we make our spam from scratch, and we have a vegan version because it's SF. And a lot of our stuff is naturally gluten-free too, which is cool. But another one would be our pig melt. That one's really special because we import wood from Hawaii that's like guava wood. So we smoke the pork with guava wood, and that gives it a really special flavor. And then something really unique that's gotten a lot of popularity is our Hapa corn dog, which is really unique in that it's a beef dog, but it's wrapped with cheese and our grilled jalapenos, and then dipped in our malasada batter, which is like donut batter, and then deep fried and rolled in sugar and togarashi. So it's spicy and sweet and savory. It's everything you want.
We do run a bunch of tournaments, and we're big fans of supporting the Bells and Chimes Women's League and also the local queer league, the SF Queer Pinball League. Big fans of those groups.
And we also have Outer Orbit Otters, because we do a team league here too. So we have our own team, which is great. And
Yeah.
I think it was during the pandemic we did the 24-hour pinball tournament.
Yeah.
So that was really fun and unique experience.
Yeah, we're relatively small. We have 7 machines right now.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of maxed out when we support some of these tournaments. What's amazing is these leagues they're growing and growing.
Yeah.
And they're almost getting too large for our little spot now.
Yeah.
We started with 9 machines here, and then during the pandemic, because we were just operating out of our parklet in front of the restaurant, we switched to doing table service out there. And then when we transitioned to doing food inside. We kept with the table service.
Yeah.
And because of that,
And reservations. Yeah.
yeah, reservations. We're not doing volume so much. We're more of a restaurant, much more of a restaurant. We were a restaurant before, but we're definitely more of a restaurant now. And so we need seats.
To pay for stuff.
So sadly,
Yes.
we had to pull a couple of machines out.
We put the new banquettes in and pulled machines out, but we still were able to squeeze one in over there. So we only really lost 2, which isn't too bad.
No, that's not bad.
So how many you have now? You have about
7.
7 machines.
In the beginning, we were working with someone else who routed machines here, and we'd always have like the newest thing from him plus some of our favorites, but we'd also like just try to mix it up. So we do change out machines at least once a month or so, or
Every other month or so.
Yeah.
We like.
yeah, we're pretty subjective.
Yeah.
We don't buy everything, but we do buy a decent amount.
Do you feel like people, like some of your regulars, they come in and they see the pinball and then they like get attracted to it? Have you seen anyone kind of convert to become more pinball?
Definitely. I mean, I think that was the whole mission of our place from the get-go, is just like getting people to engage and like be curious about like, well, why would this restaurant have so many games? Like, you know, like maybe it's worth checking out, and it does happen. And then people think about it, even when they come alone or with whoever, and they think about it and come back with like a date, because they're like, this is actually a cool date spot. Like we have something to do, and so we see a lot of that, and it's pretty cool. We do wine tastings, and we have like beer tap takeovers and all kinds of stuff. Usually it has to do around drinking, but we also have a VIP program, so we do like a secret menu week, so we have special stuff on the menu that week. And those people also play pinball, well, some of them, because we offer free pinball to our VIPs, so that helps.
It was important that we didn't hide the pinball either. The
Yeah.
pinball is clearly in view of the majority of the restaurant.
From the games you have in your lineup, do you have any favorites right now that are in your lineup, or any games that you like love to keep here?
I mean, Godzilla's been here the longest. It's
Yeah.
really hard to get rid of that one.
Yeah, by far.
Probably the biggest earner.
Yep. It was my favorite game for the longest time. And then Keith Elwin put out another game, and
Now it's Jaws.
yeah, it seems like it's gonna just be Jaws now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got the LE, you got the limited edition Jaws.
Yeah, I generally don't buy LEs, kind of on principle.
You got lucky with this one that it turned out to be such a winner.
Yeah, it's such a pretty game that we broke that rule for once.
I love Tron too. That's a great Tron from Lynn's Arcade. It's got the little Lynn sign in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely been a resurgence in the attraction to pinball.
A lot of new people, which is great. Yeah.
And I think we attribute it partly to it being a tactile game experience, in our era of screens on everything.
Yeah, and pandemic probably helped a little.
It
maybe.
did.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, there's definitely been a resurgence of popularity. And the Queer League and the Women's League that we host, their numbers have just grown and grown and grown. And it's one of the reasons we added a machine back in.
Yeah.
Is because we just didn't have enough machines to support those tournaments. We're like at bare minimum.
Oh, I think like the really early 90s games for sure. I mean, Bride of Pinball was huge in that. But also, I would say Attack from Mars and Medieval Madness, Getaway. There's so many.
Yeah. When we first started dating, we were going to the Shot Whales, which is a bar further into the Mission. And they have 2 machines there, and so we would just hang out and play Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars there. I think Monster Bash.
Yeah, Monster Bash.
Yeah.
All the old classics. Those are like, I don't know. It's hard to say, but for the longest time, like 90s games are always the tops for me. But as new ones come out, they keep getting more and more interesting, like gameplay wise. And they also are so deep that it can be a turn off. But then if it's made if it's made well, anyone can approach it and like have a great time. Like you can not know what you're doing and like still do something fun,
Yeah, like blow up the score.
Yeah.
Be like, whoa, I got more than 2 million.
Yeah.
10 million.
Yeah.
Feel a little better about games playing. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I think they're hitting a really good stride right now in game development, and that like it's not just about how deep can it be, but like is it still fun for people who don't go deep, you know?
What's been the most rewarding moment since opening Outer Orbit?
I think in general, just when someone says like this is their favorite spot or like they love everything about it kind of thing.
We opened in the city, and we want to keep San Francisco interesting. But yeah, we have Hawaii fusion food, pinball, craft beer. We're really into 80s synth music, so we're bumping that all the time. We wanted to be a unique spot in a city. That's what makes cities exciting and interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get a lot of people who, not a lot, but we get a lot of people who tell us we're their favorite spot in the city, and that's pretty awesome.
That's why you do it, you know? Like it feels really good when people get it.
My name is Mary Smith. I currently am the Assistant General Manager for Outer Orbit, where we're currently at, and also I'm a fellow pinball enthusiast such as yourself for going on since 2019. I'm not from the Bay Area. I moved out here back New Year's of 2018. I got hired on as an employee for Gus's Community Market over in Mission Bay at the end of 2018 and was introduced to my friend Justin Guevara, who was the store manager at the time. He and I connected via like a TV show we really liked, and he was like, "Hey Mary, do you like pinball?" And I was like, "Well, didn't go to a lot of arcades as a kid because my family's military, so we moved around a lot. So I didn't have like a local arcade I like to go to. But my dad, when he grew up, he was really into arcade games and stuff like that. So he invited me out to Free Gold Watch, and he introduced me to our mutual friend Doss. But he introduced me to Black Knight Sword of Rage. So I remember my first pinball machine I played here in the city. And first game, I played both him and Doss on. I ended up beating both of them. And I was like, oh, that was fun. I enjoyed that. And there was like all these other pinball machines, like over 50 pinball machines, and there was like, I want to keep playing. And we had fun playing there, and he invited me out to guest on the Bay Bridge Team League night that he was a captain for one of the teams. And so I got introduced to the Outer Orbit Otters and introduced to Christian and Biff, who own Outer Orbit. And I guested for them that night and helped them win. And he was like, yeah, Mary, you should definitely join our team because you're pretty good as just a beginner. And I'm like, okay, sure. So next season, he had me officially join and started coming to Outer Orbit more and more because for all our home games was here, and fell in love with the food, the vibes, the pinball, obviously, and been coming back here ever since. Eventually, my friend Justin had to step down as captain, and I had to pick up the mantle as captain, and been in the restaurant industry for several years now. And Christian and Biff were like, yeah, we kind of like you. We think we can see about maybe bringing you on staff, and if you want to help us, you know, do some admin work here and there, that would be cool. And now we're one big happy family. So I really enjoyed playing in tournaments. I think my first tournament I ever played in was here. It was a Flipper Frenzy tournament that was run by Russ and Shannon Sweetser. They were doing like these almost like bi-weekly or monthly Flipper Frenzy tournaments back when that style of tournament was really big. And I remember meeting so many people, like new people, and making new friends. I met my friend Jean, who found out we went to the same alma mater together. And I was like, yeah, this is a lot of fun. And, you know, free money if you get in the top 4 a lot of the times. It also is a nice little incentive. But I didn't start getting into tournament directing until I think I got involved with like Bells and Chimes, which is the women's league out here, and the Queer League with Jackie Olson. I just really like helping them run tournaments. And so I started doing like trying to do like my own tournaments, mostly here at Outer Orbit, but I've done, my first one was actually at Free Gold Watch, and that was called the Slap Save Tournament, which was a lot of fun. It was very well attended. We maxed out at like, I think 32 players, and it was just so much fun. And I've been doing tournaments ever since. This past summer, I did Super Secret Pinball Club League kind of thing. That was all throughout the summer on Mondays, and that was Flipper Frenzy tournament style, and got to have some really cool trophy design work with for my friend Allison O'Neill. But yeah, just love working with pinball people all the time. So Outer Orbit, we have our Bells and Chimes tournaments. Also, we have our Bay Bridge Team League out of here with the Outer Orbit Otters. And we also have just a bunch of like random tournaments that stop by here as well. Recently we had the Final Flip tournament for my friends Sean and Kristen. So they're sadly moving away to Ohio, but yeah, just to standalone tournaments, we do them here a lot of the time too. I really like to run group match play tournaments here. Those are pretty standard, but the ones I like to be in, I like the pin golf style tournament that my friend Gene does a lot of the times. And he's also introduced this new style called threesomes, which is not what you think. It's not what you think.
Pinball just got a lot of different, huh? Are we still talking about this?
He's hosting this tournament style called threesomes out at Gestalt on 16th Street in the Mission. And it's basically like a team-based pinball tournament where you and two other people form teams and you try to work as a team to beat the other team you're up against on certain whatever machine you're put up on. So each player plays one ball, and it's basically like a two-player game, but each player plays one ball. You need 6 people total. And if you win the game, you get like 1 point or whatever, and you compare your score against their scores. So the top 4 make it to the playoffs, and then whoever wins gets this trident trophy that he made, because it's like 3-prong, so threesomes. And it was just a really fun time. So like anything that's like team-based, I enjoy more than just like solo, because like if you go in solo, like yeah, it's fun, but like you're kind of like by yourself, whereas if you're working with other people to achieve the win, it's a lot more fun that way.
So you plan on running some threesomes out here?
That would be cool. I'd be down for that, in all honesty, because we definitely like to do like a lot of women's tournaments out here, because in my opinion, there's not enough women's tournaments that are done, just saying. But even though we've had Bells and Chimes here, we also do a lot of like women's only tournaments. So we did our X-Men launch women's tournament here back in late October, early November. That one was very much fun because we got to all dress up as different X-Men characters, and we had this like really cool drinking game for the bar for like shots of soju, where I got one of like, those invisible ink pens, and I wrote on a bunch of playing cards the word share, and it was basically like a luck of the draw. So if you were able to spell share with the 4 different suits, you get a free shot of soju, and everybody loved that. So those kinds of like fun concepts to make the tournament unique is a lot of fun. I would say there's like certain types of tournaments that bring more professional tournament players in, and some that more beginners like to come to. So like if it's an IFPA like certified tournament that has like a good amount of whoppers attached to it or points value to it, then you do get a lot more really good players show up for it. Thankfully, with the amount of machines that we have here, the tournaments that we can host aren't super crazy big. Also, we don't really like to host tournaments on the same days that we're open for regular restaurant service. So that usually leaves either a Monday or a Tuesday night. But like women's tournaments, we get like a good diversity of beginner, intermediate, and advanced players. One of the best female players we have, Louise Wagensonner, she always likes coming in for women's tournaments here like all the time. She's just an amazing player, and I love watching her play every single time. I almost beat her during our X-Men launch party. It was a tiebreaker on X-Men, and I was so close. So freaking close. My first ever tournament win I had was actually here, and it was for, I think, just a regular like group match play tournament, and I was playing against Leslie Ruckman.
Ooh, another amazing player.
Yes, another amazing player, El Rucco, and I was playing against Rob Coley, Nick Yankee, and myself. That was the top 4. And I didn't realize I was playing great that tournament, but I guess I was, and I ended up winning the whole thing against those other 3 players, which all 3 of them are freaking amazing. Yeah. Legends, freaking legends. Depending on the type of tournament you host here, you can get a fair mashup or like a bunch of pros. Cool. So a bunch of these machines are very tournament friendly because we have some machines that, you know, are very rare that not a lot of people are familiar with and know how to play, so it's like mean to everybody. Like they're not able to play long games, so it keeps the tournaments going quick. And also we have very familiar games that everybody knows and loves and enjoys playing regardless. Like Godzilla has been here since I can remember when it was released, I guess. Jaws, another Keith Elwin fan favorite. And then we always like to try to have a spooky pin, which is Christian and Biff's, one of their favorite providers. They like kind of like that horror, thriller vibe. I think the first spooky pin they ever had here was Alice Cooper, Nightmare Castle. That one, not many people liked that one because it was a little challenging, but Christian and Biff loved that machine. Our newest one we have is X-Men. That one, I've been seeing some people love it and some people are like, I don't know how to get into it. It's still a fairly new machine, still new in code. So our top machine would definitely be like Jaws and Godzilla. Those are the two top earners right now. There's a bunch of like social media pages that people can get on to like see where tournaments are being held and like who they can contact to like get more knowledge about how they might want to run their own tournaments. So first one I would say Bay Area Pinball is the Facebook page, I believe. Literally every single tournament in the Bay Area is posted on that Facebook page. For other pinball knowledge, there's a Bay Area Pinball Slack channel that people can ask to join, and everything tournaments and like new game discussion, and there's actually like tournament director channel in that you can ask questions about like, oh, how do I reach out to a venue and get something like this set up? Or how do I do the IFPA certification, like paperwork and stuff? Also, the IFPA website is a great source of information. They have like a whole just written out rule book about what type of tournament you might want to look for, all the different styles, if you want to get it certified. And also the San Francisco Pinball Department, we have our own Instagram account that people can like follow and send questions to that way if they're interested in league tournaments or league style things to look into. There's a bunch of stuff that happens in East Bay as well as South Bay. I know there's the Pacific Pinball Museum. They have a league out there. South Bay, if you're around the Monterey area, shout out to Lynn's Arcade who has their Monterey Flipper Pinball League there that literally has pinball events literally every single day almost, I feel like. They're insane.
They're pretty active.
And then I know Mini Boss and Pinball in the Lab. There's a bunch of those over near San Jose that they do a lot of tournaments out there too. I would say just seeing like the community come together, supporting each other, even if like, you know, they're not performing well, they're just having fun. The community for pinball is just so connected and supported and well loved. That's one of the reasons why I'm in the community to begin with. It's just people just having fun and enjoying hanging out with each other. And if you get cash at the end of the night, great. if you get hardware at the end of the night, great. But it's not everything. It's more about the vibe, more about the social aspects more than anything, which is what I like about it.
Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed learning about Outer Orbit, and you know, I'll have all the things for their GoFundMe in the link in the description below. And if you can donate $5, $10, if you're looking to invest in a pinball arcade restaurant, this might be a really good opportunity to do that. So yeah, any little thing helps. Please share this video with friends, family. It's an amazing place in the Bay Area, and it would be such a bummer to lose it. So I appreciate all your guys' help and support for the channel, and more is going to come. So I appreciate your patience. And I'll catch you on the flip side.